discussing the business of making and spending money.
Hello there. Welcome to the Monday edition, February 6th edition 2023 of Morning Radio. On this program, we discuss front page news on leadership sister publication, National Economy. My name is Winifred Ugwefo, and it's my pleasure to be hosting you on today's program. With me in the studio is an in-house analyst, and he is the editor of National Economy Institute. How was your weekend? Mine was great. It's good to be having you on the program. Without wasting much time, let's have national economy on our screen and let's see what the cover story is all about. National economy, 9 trillion naira lost in a decade. Poor commitment slows Nigeria's quest to ending gas flaring. 9 trillion naira lost in a decade. Poor commitment slows Nigeria's quest to ending gas flaring. And of course, we have other news items on the cover of the national economy. How some new applications may make over fintech. The story is on page 10 of the national economy. Why banks should step up security against fraud. Fraud is another leading story. The citing impacts of pension enhancement on retirees. Story is on page 21 of the paper. Well, let's go straight to the main cover story first before we discuss any other one. That is 9 trillion naira loss in a decade. Poor commitment slows Nigeria's quest to ending gas flaring. Hmm. Yes, and it's coming at a time that we are experiencing, Nigeria as a whole is experiencing epileptic electricity supply, and gas, which is very, very useful, would have been so helpful. What is happening?
Yeah, actually, it's been. I think the problem has been mostly due to the inability of government to enforce, the penalties. Not even just the penalties are so weak. Where oil companies are fined maybe $2.
They find it easier to pay. They
Yeah,
just bring the money out of their pocket.
$2 per 1,000 cubic feet of gas. You pay $2. So the argument that they prefer to pay that $2.
Than
Yes, because they will tell you that the technology to trap gas is quite expensive. And so, because the penalty is very, very, very small, it's too small, it's nothing to them anyway. They would prefer to be flaring that gas, destroying the environment, causing health problems, distorting the economy, than stopping this gas flaring. Incidentally, government has this national gas, expansion program that between 2021 to 2030, it declared it as a decade of gas, during which period the country will gradually migrate from the oil to gas.
2021 to 20.
To 2030.
Okay, we have about 7 years to go.
About 7 years to
That
go.
we are in
Yes,
2023 now.
yes, about 7 years to go. But then, incidentally, between that 2012 and 2022, the country, fled about 80 billion standard cubic meters of gas. That's worth about 9 trillion naira. So this is where
That
the
is
problem.
quite much.
Yeah, that's quite much. And if you break it down, it's just about 2.4 billion daily in the last 10 years lost to gas flaring.
Now, for a government that is sincere or it's apt to do in ending the gas flaring, why do you think successive governments over the years have found it difficult to actually exact or wear the big stick on these oil companies?
It is very, very, very. In fact, I can't even place it here because you have something like this flare gas regulation 2018. That one provided that
Okay,
legal
2018. That is in this administration.
Yes, in this administration, that one provided this legal framework, for enforcing, all the guidelines concerning how do you flare gas, how do you make money, how do you take care of the environment. They have not been able till date to be able to fully enforce that regulation.
Why is there so many lapses? Why?
I think I would think it's just corruption. The oil majors for one.
Mm.
These guys believe in using money to settle anything. That is even the main problem here. Why is it that they can't flare gas in other countries? It's
Yeah,
only in
yeah.
Nigeria they will find convenient to be wasting and destroying the environment.
As a matter of fact, your report says that Nigeria is one of the top 10 countries that still clearing
At the moment now, it's even top seven.
top seven.
It has, yes, it's now top seven countries that are still flaring gas. And it is even funny because when you consider right now gas is in high demand,
Oh, yes.
this is an opportunity for government to take advantage of
The
it,
way in.
to weigh in, stop this flaring. Because anytime crude oil is processed, gas flaring is always the outcome.
Yes.
But you can use the technology to trap that gas. Do you understand me? To trap that gas. This is what we're saying. Other countries, Russia is rich in gas today. What is the secret? Why is that when Russia comes, Europe is catching cold?
Mm.
Why can't we do the same? If you
And
have
Nigeria
a,
has a large deposit of gas
they
that will stand
do,
for
they do,
about 80
they
years.
do, they do, they do. So it's very, very
But
unfortunate.
it's a question that I've always asked and I've always pondered on. Why is it that why are we finding the, why are we not be able to get investment in this to harness our gas?
I don't think it's the inability to get that investment. No, I don't think. It's just about putting a proper framework in place.
Because this oil majors you talked about, they said it's a big investment, and they are discovering at the time that most these oil companies we have in Nigeria, they are even winding up their operations because of fossil end of fossil fuel
Yes.
stuff. They are already winding up. Most of them are winding up operations, and they
Mm.
don't want to invest
Mm.
in our gas.
Mm.
So why can't we get new entrants?
No, the issue is that it has to be clear cut. All these promises to end gas flaring shouldn't be hot air.
And the CB on its own is not bringing out enough money for local companies, oil companies.
No, I don't think it has anything per se to do with CBN. You see, there's a Ministry of Petroleum Resources.
You have to bring out intervention fund.
No, see,
Okay,
most
there's
of
a ministry of
yeah, this
this.
yeah, this is under the purview of this Ministry of Petroleum Resources in the first place. And one thing with oil majors is that you have to really define exactly what you are doing with them. If you are in crude oil production, they're not in crude oil production.
Mm,
Now, if you're migrating from crude to gas,
yes,
it's also a switch.
yes.
They also know that they have to start preparing for the switch. In other words, the technology to be able to trap that gas, they have to start investing in those kind of technologies.
But what if what you signed them for is just crude oil exploration?
You don't even need to cite them for it because the issue is that you see, this
That
is
is why maybe they just don't feel any need to actually commit for this
because
gas,
up
harnessing our
until
gas.
now, until this recent demand, upsurge in demand for gas, oil has been the
Yes.
so it's like everybody wants to go into oil exploration and all the rest of it. But now government is serious about ending, turning attention, shifting attention away from the oil to gas. Watch it. Most of these companies again will also start switching, start getting the technology. They say it's expensive. How expensive? These guys make money. They make tons of money every day. So it can be as expensive as they cannot be able to afford it. They can afford the technology. They have the technology. But you see, this is an environment where corruption thrives. So whenever they find themselves in an environment like this, it's opportunity for them to have a field day. That is what they have been doing since 1960. They have been having a field day. That's what they have been doing. But now, all we need now is government to come up with stiffer penalties.
So
What is $2?
yes, because this gas flaring precedes this present
Of course,
administration, and
yes.
we've always seen, oh, government will give a deadline or a target for these oil majors to
Mhm.
end gas flaring
Mm.
over time, and even before they even started enacting a penalty for
Yes,
gas flaring, and
yes,
we see that there's no end in sight. So, what actually is the matter? You talked about a poor commitment, as
yes,
you said.
yes.
But is there no other way, like I keep saying, that the government can also wage more sanctions?
The only thing, just let them tweak that penalty.
You understand?
You can't pay $2 for crying
Impose
out loud.
more
What is
sanctions
$2? Have you
on
when?
these oil majors.
What is $2 to these people? Even if they want to go on a to take their lunch, they spend more than that.
Of course, it cannot just be $2. Maybe for every
1,000 could be free. 1,000 could be free. Do you understand?
by the time you multiply, of course,
It
should be
is
more than
nothing to them.
$2.
Why don't you step up that thing from $2, make it now $20,000?
For every.
If you make it $20,000, this nonsense will stop. Automatically, it will stop because they know it's going to cost them. They had rather do the right thing than pay that penalty. But now it's just $2. It's not even up to the money they used to buy biscuit. It's not.
But what is the way forward?
The way forward is for government to
For
step
more
up
sanctions?
for more step up on the penalty.
Stiffer sanctions?
Yes, and also look at get a proper legal framework, prepare a proper legal framework that will also safeguard the environment. This is not even mentioning the health aspect of all this destruction to the environment. So it has to be so that where if there's any infraction coming from these people, where you have to pay the fine, you also have to look at the environment you have damaged, you have to carry out remediation efforts. Apart from that, also you look at the health of the people.
Yes.
It has been estimated in the country now about 2 million people live about 4 kilometers close to a flare site.
Yes.
What that simply means is that on a daily basis, about the health of about 2 million people are always on the line.
Yes, it's at risk.
It's at risk. So when they know they have all these bodies now to show that if they create any form of infraction, they will wake up. That's what government can do to save the situation.
No, the government on its own part, if these oil majors are not so committed to ending gas flaring and also harnessing the gas reserve for consumption, for Nigerians' consumption, is there no way the government can also come in to bring in new entrants into the field? To do that,
yes,
does that.
Yes, sincerely, I believe that there's going to be.
Instead of being at the beck and call of these,
they can't always be at their beck and call because already, even those of them living know that the environment is no longer safe for them to operate.
Yes.
So if there's a new window opening now in the area in the gas, sector, it means that also they have to follow some, processes that will ensure that whoever is given a license to operate in the country, you must be found to adhere to the rules of the game. But eventually, all these things, because if government is serious about decade of gas, we're even looking at the incoming government.
Because we just have 7 years to go.
7 years to go.
To extend the decade of gas.
7 years, 7 years to go. But what it simply means is that it's for the incoming administration to carry on, do proper house, sanitizing, sanitize every aspect of this sector. Look at the weak regulations. See how they could be straightened. Look at the players in the industry.
Especially for the new entrants or the new players that they are hoping to bring in, because these majors that we already have, they are not.
No, of course.
To be interested.
Global players.
Besides that, they are already even winding up their activities.
Yeah, global players will come in. Anywhere there is a sniff of gas, they will always come. That is one thing with that sector. A sniff of it. If they just perceive, they will come. It's just like oil. The only reason why they are not finding it difficult now is because of the activities of all these bandits, terrorists, kidnappings. That is why they are leaving. They are not leaving because the people in the creek are disturbing them. No, it's even the idea of kidnapping and whatever. They love it when it is chaos. They love it. This Weight and Measures Department, severally in the past, also made efforts. Let's even look at this oil that is coming from the ground. The first time it is coming from the pump, let's gauge and see what is coming out. They frustrated it. They were busy moving from one section of the presidency to another, lobbying left, right, and center. Do you understand? They are good in those kind of things. They know in this country they believe that money can settle anything.
Yeah, one would only hope that the incoming administration will pay more attention to the oil and the gas industry, because as as apart from using gas for local consumption, it's also a money spinner.
Yeah, let's even give it to this admin, at least for coming up with this initiative. It's a bold initiative.
It is.
You know, the last time we talked about the Lekki Deep Sea Port,
Yes.
it's like, okay, this administration said we're giving you this, at least with this you can take off. Okay. Now, if they can also ride on this, it's going to be a welcome supplement because in between now and then, it means that government will just focus on how do we become a gas, so gas, and if they work on it, the demand for gas is very high. Delegates from Europe have been coming to Nigeria. They have been visiting. Look at the Nigeria-Moroccan gas pipeline. These are things already in the works. So these are in the next 5, 4, or maybe even 3 years. This is supposed to start generating huge revenue for government. Anyway, many governments should be able to cash in on this.
Yes, thank you. Yes, just shortly before we go on break, or rather when we come back, let's just go on the break, viewers. When we come back, we'll be looking at the liquefied natural gas and why its expansion has not come to pass because operation is still very, very minimal compared to the large deposit of gas we have in the country. So don't go away. We'll come back.
For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.
Money Radio, discussing the business of making and spending money.
Welcome back. This is Money Radio on Leadership Television. We discuss front-page news stories on our sister publication, National Economy. Within the studio has been an in-house analyst, the editor of National Economy, Mr. Ali. Mr. Welcome once again. And we have been talking about the cover story on the paper today. 9 trillion naira lost in a decade. Decade means 10 years. War commitments close Nigeria's quest to ending gas flaring. Now, before we went on break, I was asking about the operations of the Nigerian liquefied natural gas and how come it has not been able to expand its operations over the years to at least be able to go into the field that
No, the issue is that with what government is doing in the decade of gas, all of them are key. Nobody wants to be left behind. In the global economy alone in 2018 lost about $20 billion.
and Nigeria
So gas flaring.
made so much money. I think how much they made so much to the revenue.
Yes, they
Remember
are.
2 years
What
ago.
they are, see, it's not just those that company. Others will come on board. Like I mentioned, I told you here, in 2018, global economy lost $20 billion to gas flaring. It's an evil they want to part with. Nobody wants to keep company.
Because it has always been just lip service. Nigerian governments have been paying lip service to gas flares because we've heard over time, if I can remember, each government will say, "Oh, we want to put an end to gas flaring. We want to put an end to gas flaring." Even just before they now started sanctioning, thinking that would serve as a deterrent to oil majors. But we've seen that has not been the case. What is the way forward?
I sincerely
Just
believe that.
before we leave
I
this,
sincerely
cover.
believe that eventually will come to that. Well, fortunately or unfortunately, this regime may not be able to see through.
Yeah, because it just has about
less than few months now.
four months.
Yes, but it's for the incoming regime. But Believe you me, if gas flaring can cost global economy up to that kind of $20 billion, that's huge. What it simply means that they don't want it. The only way to avoid it is to trap it and harness it. And it has its usefulness in Europe, not just Europe, all over the world. The main bone of contention has always been crude because of the level of pollution.
Yes.
Because of the level of
So we are
pollution.
talking about climate change.
Yes. But for gas, it has very many uses that we can't ignore not to take advantage of.
The clean air.
You see,
Very good.
yeah. So everywhere around the globe, all of them are working towards ending gas flaring. If you talk of polluting the environment, it's from gas
It's
flaring.
just very-
So if you can stop it, the environment will be cleaner.
Wow. Well, for more undercover stories, you can log on to its website for more, to get more, to read more on the cover story. We are moving on to other stories we have on the cover. How some new applications may make over fintech. So we also have on why banks should step up security against fraud. I think we are going to be talking about why banks should step up security against fraud, given the scenario of this long queues at the banking halls presently, and situations that has to do with Nigeria's naira design.
Yes.
And now that the federal government says through CBN that is going to be a cashless economy. So, what are banks going to do? Because even prior to this, we see that so many people have been complaining that the money was just yanked off their accounts.
Yes, this
And
is
we've seen some fraud taking place in people's accounts, money being transferred without even their say so.
yes.
So, what are banks going to do now that we are going to have many Nigerians, if not all Nigerians, on a cashless economy? That's very
I think basically what they need to do is to ensure that you have very good security, features, to safeguard customers.
But did they have the manpower? Last year, the paper leadership did carry a story that most IT experts in most of these banks have all
God,
Japa, they
yes.
have left the country.
Mm.
So who are they now banking on?
I want to believe that those ones are leaving, new ones are coming. But the thing is that
How good are these ones? Because we've seen a situation whereby even before this naira, this crisis that we are having now, having to cash money and all this stuff through ATMs, we've seen that most banks, their network, is always down. I remember I even wanted to cash money some time back. That was early last year, and most of these banks said no, that their network is down, so I couldn't receive money that was coming in.
Yeah. I had somewhere that what they do now for these criminals is, when they steal a phone, it doesn't matter what password or security, whatever it is, they just remove your SIM card. Once they get that SIM card, they put it on their own phone and then start trying all the manner of things to see if they break into your account. When they cannot do that, they try to see how they can change the OTP, their one-time password.
Yes.
So the advice there in the first place is that, see, all this idea of notifications on your text message, it shouldn't be.
Okay.
Because that is where the first
delete them.
You delete them. You just, if any notification on transaction on your account should go to your email. It should be your email, basically. But all these,
but what is the situation whereby you have your email in your phone too?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Like some of us, you have your email in your phone.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It should be actually, they should go to your emails,
email.
but not text messages.
Okay.
Because they could just have that in slot it in, all of a sudden there's a transaction somewhere, they get the alert there. They quickly key in there, change the OTP, and then they're able to pull the cash. So government, I believe, they should be able to work on this. Because people, especially those in the rural settings, they may not really understand all these things we're saying here.
Some of the banks are saying that the reason why they don't even have enough new naira notes, some of the papers carried today that they invested about 100 billion on fintech.
Is it really true? Because I'm also aware that CBN, in the course of last week, stormed a bank that were busy. The bank was holding new naira notes.
But that was few compared to the old naira news that was started.
Why
inside.
hold them in the first place? They caught them red-handed.
I know
This
some of these
you are
banks
supposed to
were-
load the
But the
ATMs.
issues now is that how are we going to, just like the story on Koba, how are banks going to step up security against fraud? Because hitherto there was fraud being carried out in people's accounts without their knowledge. And now that many people are using that platform, what is going to happen? Don't you think that there's going to be more fraud being perpetrated now?
Yeah, they should,
online?
I think at the back end of all these things, banks should be able to have good security features. I went somewhere to do a transaction. It's surprisingly, it's even one of these microfinance banks. I needed to put some money. I did a transfer. When I did the transfer, they wanted to confirm. Just a kiosk operator. Press some digits. What appeared there before me was my passport. I don't bank with microfinance banking. But the fellow just say, okay, let me confirm. Just type whatever I don't know. All of a sudden, my image appeared. He said, this is you now. So if, for instance, this is a stolen something, I will know, and all the rest of it. Such kind of features is what we expect that banks will start putting in place.
Yes.
So it's no longer easy for somebody to go and steal somebody's ATM card, rush to the nearest POS or ATM machine and put the money.
And a situation whereby you also have BVN, then what is BVN for? Because we saw a situation whereby, was it an actor or whatever, he said about 4 million or so was removed from his account, just like that, from her account. And we also had another scenario of almost that same amount. So what happens without your BVN?
There has to be an internal monitoring mechanism in place. Like I just mentioned this now. You know, I was shocked because it's just a normal transfer. Just a transfer, please confirm. And for you to confirm, you say, this is me. I didn't give her my ATM card. With my name, image just appeared. That means some of them have really gone a long way to ensuring that necessary safety measures are already, put
And
in
many
place.
people, of course, are also of the opinion that these breaches are being carried out with the connivance of bank officials. Because if not, how can money just disappear? How can money
Yeah,
just
most often. That means also the bank has to sanitize itself,
Yes,
purge itself.
yes.
All those bad eggs within the banking system. For instance, now.
Yes, I actually saw something like that from with a CBN directive that people that man their IT session should be trained, or their everything about them should be upgraded so that they will know
Yes, it's very, very
how
important.
trustworthy are they.
It's very, very important because these are people that on daily basis they know how much comes in and how much
Exactly.
goes out from you.
Yes,
It's very, very easy.
yes. I
Most-
read the report.
Yeah.
On it.
Some time ago, somewhere in Mpape, there was a bank robbery, and it was because there was an insider collaboration
Oh, yes,
there.
yes.
So the banks have to come up with good security measures to safeguard, because these electronic transactions we are talking about now, it's electronic now.
Yes, it is.
So you can't afford,
Everybody's going to
yeah.
And
if
that is
it's
another thing too,
sensitizing-
because the service charge for electricity, that is another story. The story for another thing.
Yes.
The charges for this
Electronic
transfer.
Transaction.
CBN, don't you think CBN has to win it too?
I think they also should work because right now
For every transfer, you pay 100 naira,
they should at least
and it's above 5,000, you pay 50 naira
Yeah.
stamp duty.
stamp duty. But CBN should also be looking at how they can review that,
Yes.
because by default, all of us are now going cashless.
Well, viewers, this is where we end today's program. Sorry, time is against us. No one on our side. Well, for more stories on national economy, I say you log on to their website for the last CBN in the country and get a hard copy of the paper. Kingston, we are leaving.
Thank you. It's been a time.
Yes, it's been a time. My name is Winifred. Look forward to see you same time, same station next week. Bye.
Thank you for watching. For sponsorship and advert placements, please contact 080-3688-6158. Last Word Leadership Podcast Studio. You have the last word.